Last week we saw one of the darkest days in American history, and for better or worse, I was there. It was a day that began with the president holding a rally outside of the White House to push lies about voter fraud and urge his followers to take action to overturn the election. Excuse me, is the sedition happening over here? Is the sedition, is it over here?
No doubt. Say it ain't so.
Do you know where the sedition is?
Stop this deal! Stop this deal!
We do not consent to be governed.
Nor shall we ever be consented to be governed by an illegal, fraudulent election.
But you elected a guy who also doesn't care much about consent.
We do not consent.
Will you accept Joe Biden as president of the United States on the 20th?
No, I will not accept the verdict. No, I will not. So look, I've educated myself about this, okay? I don't know all what's in the Constitution.
Have you read it? It's pretty short.
The Constitution of America?
Yeah.
I've not read the whole thing, no. You've read the entire thing?
Yes, it's remarkably short.
All right. I doubt that, but it's okay.
You should read it, because you might be committing a seditious act in an hour and a half.
Okay, I'm not going to comment about that.
The people didn't vote for Joe Biden, though. The Dominion system voted for Joe Biden.
Do you think it's possible that Hugo Chavez infiltrated the Dominion systems, changed the votes, orchestrated by Joe Biden?
I think anything's possible.
Do you think it's possible that a president who never pulled above 50% lost the election and is sore about it?
Absolutely not.
That's not possible. The one thing you couldn't help but notice was just how many people looked like they were preparing for battle. From the tactical vests to the pitchforks, this rally felt charged. You can tell these people really love America by the number of weapons they brought to hurt other Americans. Looks like we got some Proud Boy action. Either that or the Cabela's street team. What's your flag say?
Come and take it.
Come and take it. Do you have a weapon?
No.
No? Why not? Did they take it? Sorry, bro. I was worried that we were in trouble, but then I saw that we got the tyranny response team here, and I feel a lot better. Thanks for all you do. And for those supposedly caught off guard, claiming they didn't see this violence coming, if you paid attention to any of these rallies, all you have to do is open your eyes and ears. The message isn't exactly subtle.
Make no mistake, we have the guns, and we are now in the streets. We are gonna clean this place out, one way or another. You look down there, I have 1 million plus people angry. Very, very angry people.
Can I ask why you're carrying a pitchfork?
Well, a pitchfork is just an iconic representation of what people over time have done in this country.
It feels more like a weapon, to be quite honest.
No, it's not. It's farm equipment, and it's legal in this city.
Yeah, are you farming today?
It's an icon. It's a representation. We're not asking for violence right now.
I gotta tell you, from the movies I've seen, the hordes of people with pitchforks are usually the bad guys.
How close do you think we are to 1861?
But
Seriously.
hang on.
Are we close?
Hell yeah, you are.
That's the Civil War.
Would you rather die on your knees than be free?
Aren't you a little bit freaked out about 600,000 Americans die? I see you're not wearing masks, never mind. This thing was a powder keg. All it took was someone to light the fuse, like these human blowtorches.
Let's have trial by combat.
Stand up and fight. Stand up and hold your representatives accountable.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength.
With those orders, the crowd of economically anxious insurrectionists advanced on the Capitol. So we've been following this protest. We headed to the Capitol, and the Trump supporters just broke through the gates, and they're now heading into the Capitol right now. People are getting waved up towards the Capitol. Take it back. I'm hearing people saying, let's go, keep going. Who are you with?
The American people.
The American people. Are you military?
Not answering that.
So you're not military?
No.
Why are you dressed like military?
I'm not. These are just clothes.
Is that camouflage?
It is.
But you're in an urban environment. Isn't that sort of the antithetical to camouflage?
I don't think so.
Are you looking to make an aggressive action right now?
No, I'm looking to make a statement.
What's your statement?
The election was stolen. We want free and fair elections.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can't have that in this country, we don't have anything.
So what do you plan on doing?
We're just gonna see how it unfolds.
You're gonna see how it unfolds. All right, good luck with the paintball tournament.
Yeah.
Can I ask you some questions? What's your plan? What's your plan?
For what?
What are you, are you storming the Capitol?
I'm just going up there checking for somebody.
Is this the last stand?
I'd say it is.
This looks like the last stand. Are you afraid if you run out of batteries for the last stand that you'll be thwarted? Good luck. I hope you don't run into bumpy terrain or stairs. While Segway Stonewall Jackson is laughable on his child's scooter, the rioters brought real weapons and committed real atrocities. They attacked our democracy, our police, and even our cameraman.
Does that matter? Hey, you assaulted me! I was saying you assaulted me!
Trump's fake tough guy military are literally throwing themselves on the ground to perpetuate victimhood. If the Trump presidency was going to come to an end, this seems fitting. A show of aggression ending with a bunch of people screaming at a building without a working understanding of how democracy works. America 2021. Thunder, cannon, tear gas, let's not wait to find out. In the end, the crowd didn't stop our democracy. Let's take heart in that. This shit-stained rebellion failed, as did my dry January. It's impeachment week, again. So I'm back in Washington, D.C., where our Capitol is a bit different from the last time I was here. It is hard to figure out how to get in towards the Capitol. I want to get to the Capitol. Could I go all the way down to Constitution? There are miles and miles of fences. Did somebody get on Parler or something to figure out how to get in there? And the thousands of screaming MAGA folks is down to 2. What do you think of the impeachment?
The sign says it wasn't the president who called the riots.
What I saw and what there's a lot of evidence showing is that many of the initial people who entered the building violently were leftists, have Antifa.
I was here. It seemed like a lot of people were Trump supporters. 1,000 people broke into the Capitol, erected a noose outside, and tried to kill the Speaker of the House and the Vice President.
Hey, I literally think that you have added the tried to kill all those things and you have ignored.
I got to show you some videos.
200. You want to trade videos? Because I'd love to share video with you as well.
I'm not going to give you my email. Yet the MAGA faithful aren't the only ones who want to go to the video.
House prosecutors plan to, quote, have a fast-paced cinematic case.
Raskin is aiming for a blockbuster action film this week.
Yes, Impeachment 2 is bigger and louder and more cinematic than the first one. Because as we all know, when you're dealing with American audiences, stunning imagery goes farther than facts. What are you doing? Are you doing the spinning bad boy shot? No, we always do the bad boy shot. Stop it. I understand the Democrats' movie-making angle, but how is this blockbuster approach playing with the few locals we could actually find? The first impeachment gets in the weeds, feels a little bit more like a complicated spy drama made by a foreign director. This new one?
This new one, I think, is just so obvious. You know, it was full of drama and chaos, unfortunately murder and sedition. You know, it has all of the good plot twists of a crime.
I'm not excited about it because the fact that it had to happen is because something horrible happened in the first place.
You're not excited for the new impeachment. Would you say you're getting too old for this shit?
I am Bruce Willis too old for this shit.
Technically Danny Glover.
You know,
Lethal Weapon, Danny Glover. I guess Bruce Willis was getting too old for the Die Hard series in and of itself. All I'm saying is somebody needs to say hasta la vista, baby. Am I right?
as long as there's not a third movie, I'll be great.
I hope you're right, although we do have a villain who's never been held accountable in his life. It kind of keeps the franchise open.
I think they had a good opening day with the video, and I think Jamie Raskin did a really good job of explaining that some people were either getting ready to just hide behind their desk or like grab a pair of scissors and go out.
It's Screenwriting 101. Make it personal, give us people to care about.
Exactly. Where's Jordan Peele? He should be
needs to get up here.
an impeachment
I
manager.
He's too busy making scary stuff that I only stay through half of because it's both scary and I have certain race guilt issues because of my privilege. Showing hours and hours of footage of blatant criminality seems like a sound legal tactic. So how does the 2020 lead impeachment manager, Adam Schiff, feel the sequel stacks up to the original?
Ours might have been more the Ken Burns documentary. This might be more the HBO miniseries, but you know, we had to try to bring to life events that were happening half a world away in Ukraine. Here, you don't have to imagine anything because The senators were there. The House members were there. We watched it on our television screens.
Why do you think the impeachment is necessary?
It's absolutely necessary. If he's not disqualified now, if the senators don't follow their oath, don't follow the evidence, and he's acquitted again, and he decides to run again, he will put the country through hell again.
Is accountability really America's thing? I mean, we're better at like barbecue and wraparound sunglasses.
Well, I think that the lack of priority on accountability over the last several years has been why we're in this predicament.
There are critics who say Congress should go back to doing more important things, like stopping the space lasers that are causing all the wildfires. Should we be focusing on those big, important issues?
This points to another huge problem, not the lasers.
The wildfires.
But the people who believe.
The people who believe.
In that kooky, crazy, batshit conspiracy theory stuff. They're members of Congress now.
How do you convince people who are both witnesses and jurors to a crime that a crime actually occurred?
The Republican Party needs to be a party of ideas and ideology again. At the end of the day, what this is really about is can they find the courage to tell their constituents back home that what they were fed by Donald Trump was a bunch of lies.
So you're banking on the courage of someone like Ted Cruz. Good luck with that.
If I was going to bank on that, I would be bankrupt a long time ago.
I was going to say, he won't even stand up for his wife, let alone the country. So the final jury is the American people, which in like Rotten Tomatoes, it's like the critics score versus the audience score. Now the first impeachment was great. Critics loved it. Audience was so-so on it, but maybe for this new one, the audience score pops right up and there's a conviction?
Well, I'm hoping that the audience score and the senator score are in alignment, and they both say, we never want to see the likes of Donald Trump in office again.
So will impeachment 2, don't rush to Judgment Day, move any Senate Republicans to convict Trump? As I look around our transformed Capitol for signs of hope, I know.
No more bad boy shots, okay? No.
Last week, I traveled to a sweltering Arizona, where Republican state senators are auditing results of the 2020 election in a giant arena next to an actual carnival. Sure, there's already been 2 audits and a recount, and it's 101 goddamn degrees out, but there are still men like this ready to throw their support behind election integrity.
I've been here all week, and I'll be here until the audit's done, is my plan. So what's going on right back here is the most important thing going on in our country right now.
What do you have there on your hip?
Smith & Wesson 357 Magnum. There has been word that Antifa and BLM may be coming in, so they're trying to be careful and secure the premises.
Have you seen any signs of Antifa?
You guys have probably heard about the carnival that's going on here. There's a little concern about whether or not that would provide those kind of folks an opportunity to come in and try to infiltrate and get access.
So there is some fear that BLM might meet behind a tilt-a-whirl, organize, and then bum rush the situation.
Bad people can do bad things, and I'm not going to say what they may try to do.
Outside of possible Antifa carnies, which was laid out in official documents outlining potential security threats, what's the harm in one more recount?
I know that it's comical to watch what's happening here in Arizona, but I think that it is also important to note that this is really dangerous to our democracy. And you know what? We saw how dangerous the post-election misinformation was. This is a group of people who are clearly partisan. It is headed by a company that has no auditing or election experience, and they're making up the rules as they go along.
So who's running the audit?
Cyber ninjas.
Did you say cyber ninjas?
I did say cyber ninjas.
Is it run by a 12-year-old boy?
It sounds like it, right?
While the Cyber Ninjas website looks like the invitation to my 9th birthday party, we must not judge audit companies by their splash page.
But you give it to the pros. Let the pros handle this.
These are not pros.
Well, they're cyber ninjas. That takes some amount of training, I assume.
Their firm has nothing to do with audits or elections.
Well, maybe they're newish to it. How many audits have they done?
None.
They've never done an audit?
No.
Well, I mean, give them a wide berth, right? First job, you want to root for, sometimes you make some mistakes with your first job. I remember my first job, I burned a lot of hamburgers.
You know,
and I worked at a TJ Maxx.
There are a lot of Arizona voters who are very, very concerned about this, and I don't think they like the idea of their ballots, their election being in the hands of these rookies.
Turns out the audit has had some issues in the trust department, starting with Cyber Ninja's conspiracy theorist CEO, an auditor who attended the January 6th insurrection, and mysterious UV lights used to look for Chinese bamboo in paper ballots. Really? To help clear the air, I talked to John Brakey and Ken Bennett, who are inside working on the audit.
There's been so many bizarre stories going on through the media.
You can have some pretty far-fetched ideas on both sides, and what we're doing is simply proving or disproving as many of those as we can.
Speaking as somebody on the outside, this feels like it's just feeding into conspiratorial thinking.
We're mythbusters.
Great.
Okay? We're doing things we think are foolish, but people believe it's real.
What is this I hear of a UV light?
There was a UV light that was being used to supposedly check for watermarks in the ballot.
I want to follow up on this. Bamboo?
Bizarre, huh? That's because Southeast Asia uses bamboo in their paper, supposedly, okay? We're myth busting.
But are you looking for traces of bamboo using
We're looking
UV
for
light?
everything in there.
So that's a yes?
We're looking to disprove that it's not there.
Some people believe that paper from outside of the authentic ballot paper that should have been part of the Maricopa audit got introduced into the system and might be the paper on which 40,000 people cast illegitimate votes.
All Chinese ballots are on bamboo?
Yeah.
Is it because soy sauce would be too obviously racist?
Oh my goodness.
Is there a chance people believe this because people add fuel to the fire by elevating this and therefore letting that be part of the conversation?
If we validate that something they think might have happened didn't happen, then we're not throwing fuel on the fire.
Are you looking into the Hungarian vector?
I didn't know about that one.
The Hungarian vector.
It's a bullshit thing I just made up that sounds cool and a little bit spooky.
I was fortunate enough to see the operation firsthand, and the people led by the Cyber Ninjas were definitely counting and observing. But there is still one thing that can at least temporarily derail this audit: teenagers.
We've known from the very beginning that there's some high school graduations coming in 2 weeks. So we'll have to step aside for about a week while the graduations occur.
You don't have a place to count the ballots in 2 weeks?
No, just for 1 week, we're going to shut down.
We'll secure the ballots, and then when the graduations are over, we'll come back and
This is not a joke.
I know it's not a joke, but you want us to trust you, but you're like, we're going to lock the ballots in there and then let a bunch of teenagers come through for a week, and then we'll start counting again?
No, that is not a case at all.
Secure the ballots, right.
Come on, let's get serious.
No, I got it. No, it's serious. Let's be serious.
This is a very serious subject.
It's very serious.
Okay, so it's not a joke.
It's not a joke. Let's go back to the bamboo talking. But it's not a joke.
Until we settle the very serious bamboo situation, you can find me in a place that's run by professionals not attempting to thwart our democracy, the other carnival. Donald Trump has been promising to start up his rallies again, but until he does, his supporters will have to settle for the next best thing, the MyPillow guy. Yes, MyPillow founder and Trump supporter Mike Lindell put together something he called the MAGA Frank Rally. So I traveled to New Richmond, Wisconsin to see why thousands of people gathered in a field to see a bunch of right-wing all-stars, the ex-president on a Jumbotron, and obviously buy some pillow swag.
Such an amazing lineup.
Who's your favorite with the lineup?
Probably Mike Lindell.
Oh, we're just excited to see Mike.
He speaks the same truth that we believe.
Mike is a true hero. You know, they claim, you know, the doctors and nurses are that, but my own sister's a retired RN, and we're not talking right now because of her beliefs.
So when it comes to heroes, there's doctors, there's nurses, and then there's the pillow guy.
Yeah.
What have you learned from Mike Lindell?
He's a true blue-blooded, red working American man.
Which color?
Blue and true.
He's a blue and true
red-blooded white man. That he's, you know...
Got them all in there.
Yeah.
Mike Lindell has garnered plenty of attention by focusing on one thing.
When this election, when all this fraud is opened up that I already know exists.
And sure, his claims of dead people voting in Georgia and vote flipping in Michigan have been debunked by various news outlets. Still, these people were eager for more pillow talk.
What is Mike Lindell talking about that you agree with?
Well, just the whole fraud of the election. He's got the proof. You know, the proof is there.
What makes you know that Trump won? His own Department of Justice says there was no fraud.
Just, well...
So you don't trust the Department of Justice?
Oh, no.
You trust my pillow guy?
Well, I wouldn't go quite that far to say, you know, I trust what he's saying.
You trust what he's saying?
Yeah.
Oh, so you would?
Yeah.
You would go that far?
Yeah.
That's exactly where you went?
Yeah.
I think that we still need to find out what's going on. We still need to look back at what happened.
Haven't we already done that?
Well, there's history. Sometimes we have to go back in history, like we do in school.
It's important to look at historical moments from different perspectives so you have an understanding and a whole picture.
Right, we have to.
So you support critical race theory?
Donald Trump.
No. And Lindell's newest election claim is his juiciest.
President Trump coming back in 2024, I'm still sticking to August of this year, everybody. That's my opinion.
And what do they think of that?
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be nice, but you know, I don't like to get my hope up.
I think the country's going to pot right now.
Not the country I grew up in.
What country did you grow up in?
The land of the free.
This United States of
Because of the
America in
brave.
the 60s.
Things were better in the 60s.
Oh yeah, 70s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah, in the 60s we knew which drinking fountain to drink from.
Exactly, yeah.
If Trump is reinstated in 2021, do you think the Democrats will accept it and allow our nation to heal?
I think there's going to be a lot of whining still.
Yeah. They're just not going to let it go. They're going to be whining in a field months after everything's already decided. Anyway, are you excited about being out here in a field to watch Trump on a Jumbotron?
Is he going to be on the Jumbotron? We don't even know.
Who knows? I'll tell you who might know. The man who paid for a military plane flyover.
When are they? There's a surprise in the sky here in about a minute, 30 seconds.
It's going to happen any minute.
Are they coming?
Can they see him? What's that? Where is he? Oh, right here? Yeah, that's fine. Take it down. All right, we're going to start right now with Brandon Leadus and God Bless America.
So the planes might not be here yet, but according to Lindell, thanks to so-called white hat hackers, he already received the evidence that would lead to Trump's imminent reinstatement.
I told the whole country a month and a half ago that Donald Trump will be back in August. You know?
You still believe that?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the crime of the century you're describing, and they came to the MyPillow guy.
No, they didn't come to me. They came to me on January 9th, but I seen the evidence.
But they still came to you.
Because, let me tell you, nobody came to me until that day, and here's what happened. I had my own investigations, I had all of my stuff going on, and nobody talked about the machines. We talked about dead people, non-resident, all the other stuff. I call it the organic fraud. Sure.
Is this helping, Mike?
What? This here is
ginning all this up.
I already have the evidence. You know what this is doing? Do you guys get it?
It's perpetuating anger, fear, and attacking our democracy.
You know what? You are by saying that. Let me tell you something. This is a free speech rally, okay? My platform, frank speech, for all the individuals, whether they're Democrat or Republican. Right now, if you talk about machines, vaccine, the border, Jesus, you speak out for anything, and YouTube and Vimeo and people like you guys, the journalists, suppress it, cancel us, or try and destroy something good that's coming out of this. This is a free speech rally. This isn't a Trump rally. Are you trying to say this is a Trump rally?
It says MAGA is in the title, and he's speaking at it.
No, you know what? He's speaking.
I mean, you got his picture on the poster, Mike.
Yeah, he got suppressed.
Unproven election fraud claims have caused real problems in our country. And just last week, we learned that election officials were receiving death threats from angry Trump voters. Have you heard about the death threats?
On me?
On Secretary of State, Georgia?
On me, you mean?
I'm saying there are people, because of the conversations that are happening, the elongation of this process, who are now being threatened.
You're talking about Brad Rassenberger?
Yes.
Brad Rassenberger and Brian Kemp were in on this. Are you kidding? They're as compromised as they come.
Why are these Republicans compromised?
I don't know. Ask them.
I'm asking you because you apparently are the one that...
No, you need to understand. That's a deviation. Why wouldn't you guys, when I was kicked out...
Do you either want to be the guy everybody comes to or not the guy everybody comes to? Because you have answers for being the guy that the cyberpunks come to, but you have no other answers.
I don't know.
If August doesn't happen, what do you say to these people?
Then the states are going to all pull it down because they're doing audits in every state. Pennsylvania's doing audits, they're doing here in Wisconsin. Maricopa will get done. Everywhere they've done an audit, like in New Hampshire, every place that we've done audits that we've done, the machines, it's the same thing, everyone.
So there's a plan. It's like watching that Bigfoot show. They don't find Bigfoot at the end, but if you tune in next week, maybe it's going to happen.
Good one.
Thank you.
You guys are horrible.
Oh. Normally when I'm in search of an angry mob of people screaming anti-science, deep state, vaccine, microchip, conspiracy jazz, I head to the heartland of America. But it turns out I can find those very same people right here in my own backyard, in New York City.
That's right. Last week, outside of Mayor Bill de Blasio's home, there was a group protesting his new mandate that customers show proof of vaccination in order to enter restaurants, gyms, and theaters. It was a mix of hardcore anti-vaxxers, people who are okay with vaccines but hated the mandate, and then, of course, some people who put together a Joker costume once, loved the attention, so now that's pretty much all they do.
I'm the only one in my family that hasn't gotten the vaccine. It's not approved by the FDA. I don't know what's in that. Women are miscarrying. People are having their DNAs wiped out.
What? What do you mean, like completely wiped out?
Yeah, they're telling women that it's okay for you to get the vaccine.
What does it mean their DNA is wiped out?
Like their immunity is getting wiped out.
Because I was saying, like, COVID wiped out 600,000 DNAs.
Yes, of course, you know?
Actually, some people have died from the vaccine. Don't believe me, go to the media, go to the Google or...
some people have died from COVID.
Yes.
So many more than from the vaccine.
One thing with me, I try not to argue facts.
I don't believe that suggesting strongly and coming out with mandates for vaccine is a way of medical intervention. This is not what I believe in.
That's a lot of quotes.
People from both sides of the issue came from far and wide to express their hate or love of vaccines.
I think you're killing people. Right? I think you're killing people.
Don't get your
Let me come over here. Let me cough on you.
Oh, full of shit. You know, Ron DeSantis and Ted Cruz have both been vaccinated. Bullshit.
This is why I love doing interviews in New York. You're from Pennsylvania.
Yes, because we know it's coming to Pennsylvania.
How important is it like that to think ahead to protect something before it gets out of control?
It's everything. It's everything, because once it's gone out of control, you don't reel it in.
Right, like that's why it's important for everybody to get a vaccine, squash it before it gets out of control.
That's why what?
It's important that we take the vaccine, squash it.
Oh my God, what side are you on? Are you nuts?
No, what were you talking about?
I'm not talking to you.
What were you talking about?
I am not for the vaccine. Are you out of your mind?
Well, you were just talking about getting ahead of it.
Getting ahead of the mandate.
The mandate is what's spreading.
Yes. We don't want the mandate to come to PA. We don't want to take the vaccine.
Oh.
Why should I?
You see why I'm confused, though.
Clearly, putting potentially harmful toxins into your body was something these anti-vax mandate health nuts were very concerned about.
My name is Edwin de la Cruz, and I'm running for city council.
Running for New York office.
As a Republican.
As a Republican.
The science is still new. We still have question marks. We rushed the science.
We were moving at warp speed.
Well, we moved at warp speed.
So Donald Trump rushed it.
Not correct.
Who rushed it?
Who rushed it? Can I ask, how about if we change places and I start attacking you?
You're the one who's running for public office.
No.
The Republicans of New York were clearly trying to move on from the past, and in some cases, forgetting it completely.
My name is Vish Burra, and I'm the vice president of the New York Young Republican Club. This is a protest against the anti-freedom mandates from a petty tyrant like Bill de Blasio.
Do you think this is something the Founding Fathers would support?
The Founding Fathers would support vaccine mandates.
Yeah.
No, I don't believe so.
George Washington had a vaccine mandate.
Well, that's okay.
Oh,
that's okay.
Oh, he's a lower Founding Father.
I mean, I love the lore, but at the end of the day, we are the ones who have to deal with what is going on in America today.
What are you going to miss out on if this mandate prevents you from doing?
I just tried to get some Thai. I love Thai food. I just tried to get some Thai food around the corner. They told me I couldn't sit down and eat.
I can't go in a restaurant. I can't go to a music club.
50% more people who are not going to go out to eat.
How are they going to get food?
Exactly.
Yeah, right?
So maybe they'll go out of state and come back. Who knows?
If only like the city had a seamless way to get food to their door, fresh, direct way to get there,
maybe,
you know?
Maybe that's it.
Their point is this mandate is a slippery slope that only leads to hyperbole.
So many don't get it. It's 1937, and never again is now.
Do not comply to showing your papers. This isn't Nazi Germany.
Maybe you can help me out. I'm seeing signs that say vaccine mandates are fascism, and also signs that say vaccine mandates are communism. Which one is it?
It's both.
It's both. Those are diametrically opposed ideologies.
I don't think it's communism. I think it's more like a dictatorship. Like we're living in like a Nazi Germany, and the only thing that's missing is the camps and the gas.
That's what's happening right now?
Yes.
Because you can't go to a concert?
I can't go to a concert. I can't go to a gym.
Do you think that's what it was like in Nazi Germany? People were bitching about not going to a gym?
Regardless of our differences, this was still New York. A melting pot crammed onto an island, then pushed into a subway car with a rat eating pizza. You're not left or right. You're a new Yorker, and we're in this together.
I mean, I've heard the we live in a society line a million times, and we're over it.
The we the people thing holds no sway for you.
No, we the people is...
Who are the people of the we the people that you are willing to support?
Definitely not the illegal immigrants that are bringing COVID over our border right now, that's for sure. I do not believe that vaccine mandates are constitutionally supported.
Which is a bummer because the Supreme Court has upheld it many times.
It's not my court.
All right, well, enjoy. I hope you don't get sick.
Good luck to everyone out there, and may you get the patsy you, our founding fathers, said you deserve to eat inside during a global pandemic.
I'm in Johnson County, North Carolina, marching with anti-mask protesters to what has become America's new Thunderdome, school board meetings.
North Carolina parents are desperate to get their kids back into schools. But with packed ICUs and COVID cases in children 4 times what they were last year, new studies in the CDC are recommending masks as a way to keep in-person learning. But packed school board meetings and new stars of the right are upset because putting on a piece of cloth is just too much.
I'm against all mandates. So from there, I don't care where it's masks, where it's vaccinations, I'm against it all.
Masks will never protect Americans.
Masks don't work. My child was suffering after wearing his mask for so long.
What kind of issues has he had?
He's had acne on his face from, the mask covering and not letting his skin breathe.
Has he had COVID?
No.
But he has had acne?
Yes.
So, if you had to choose,
no.
What's wrong with having children wear masks in school?
Well, you're breathing in the toxins that your body is trying to get rid of.
How do surgeons do it?
That is a good question.
There's been some new studies that have come out both by the CDC and by even Duke University talking about masks being helpful, especially in a school situation.
I challenge anybody to put a mask on and 5 minutes later smell that funk and think it's good for you.
So there's science and then there's the smell test, and you're going with the smell test.
Yes.
What are some of the ways kids suffer when they have to wear masks?
I think breathing. I've done a little bit of research about the carbon dioxide that people are saying is an issue now with the mask.
Wearing a mask helps stop the spread of COVID in settings like a school.
But they're outside, like right now. I mean, this is a kind of example. There's kids out there playing and stuff.
Well, we're outside right now. When you go inside, isn't it beneficial to wear a mask if you're close to someone? No.
No, I don't think so.
The science says it is helpful to wear a mask so it doesn't spread when you're in close proximity indoors.
The science.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think, because they're, I don't know. Do y'all edit this? I'm sorry.
So some people are bewildered by science, both the practice and the word. But maybe scary images like full ICUs would have an impact.
Wearing a mask, what's the harm?
Well, for kids, the harm is they can't gauge emotional awareness of other kids. They don't see the facial expressions.
Do you think not being able to see people's lower halves of face outweighs the dangers that COVID might pose to kids and communities?
Well, the dangers aren't what you think they are.
The ICUs here are full.
Yeah, but how many positive tests in all of North Carolina have died? How many are sick?
The ones in the ICU are pretty sick.
Yeah.
I've been in ICUs 3 times in the last year and a half with my wife and have questioned the nurses and doctors.
You have ICUs full of people suffering from COVID right now.
Do you now? Is that true? Are they just being the diagnosis on paper? I've walked through the hospitals, I've videotaped inside the hospitals, and guess what? It's not full of COVID patients.
Now I'm worried about COVID and security measures at North Carolina hospitals.
Like so many of these school board battles, it was never about just one thing, but more of a general airing of grievances.
When we've got a governor here that thinks it's okay to have CRT in the classroom, they need to focus on educating and not indoctrinating our children here in in North Carolina?
No CRT, that's ridiculous.
We're saving the kids from all that's going on with CRT, critical race theory.
Here in North Carolina, they don't need to learn about racism in school.
No, where are they going to learn about racism most?
Walking past one of the tobacco fields?
Well, no, not walking past the tobacco field, sir. You know, it's not like that.
It was hard to sum up the outrage of that afternoon. There were many thoughtful political statements being made. But looking around, it was difficult to miss the real catchphrase of the day.
I don't co-parent with the government.
Well, you don't want to co-parent with the government. Don't get pregnant in Texas.
There we go.
Right.
Don't get pregnant anywhere.
Your kids go to private school?
They are enrolled in public school.
Isn't that kind of co-parenting with the government?
No, it isn't, because you know why? We have a board of education. We also elect who our officials are. We get to have a voice.
Right. So you work with the government.
We do.
In parenting decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in public school.
So you do kind of co-parent with the government.
In that regard, I guess, yeah. If you want to say my taxes pay for that, yeah.
But you're giving back your child tax credit.
So, I mean,
This crowd that was ready to fight for what they believed in was using the power of democracy that was bestowed upon all of us by our founding fathers.
Did you vote for school board?
No.
No.
I don't even vote.
You don't even vote?
No.
You could vote for somebody who reflects your values,
I could vote. You're right. Yeah.
but that's a hassle.
Take the time to do it. I'm sorry.
But at the end of the day, they saw this as a fight against something much more disturbing than kids' face coverings.
It's terrible for them to wear masks. Absolutely. It's just absolutely terrible. It's a sign of slavery.
Wait, what?
Very basically.
Wearing a mask is a sign of slavery.
I discovered in my research also that Satanists stand 6 feet apart. They wear masks during their rituals.
Who does?
Satanists.
Satanists,
Their rituals.
That's
6 feet apart, wear masks. I don't know. Is it coincidence? I don't know.
Sure.
Satanism is, well, we're at war with Satan. And
How are we doing?
I think we're winning.
Good. Finally some good news.
I have no fears.
No fears, but a healthy belief in Satanism and its effect in the COVID.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm back at my first Trump rally since January 6, 2021, a day no one will ever forget, unless you're a Republican member of Congress.
Yes, Trump is gathering people once again, so I headed to my favorite Iowa state capitol, where the crowd was ready to proclaim Trump won, and Trump won, and Trump won and rides a tank, and even though Trump won, they're hoping he runs again.
You know, hey, what better place to announce the candidacy than here in Hawkeye State?
Are we ready for this? I mean, the last guy hasn't even conceded yet.
Well, I mean, I have some choice words for especially our vice president, but I'm trying to be civil today, so.
My last Trump rally was January 6th. Have you seen any gallows go up anywhere?
Nope.
Do you think Mike Pence will show up here today, or does he not want to hang?
Oh, I think he would be afraid to show up here today.
Yeah, why is that?
Because he was a coward. He didn't do the right thing, that's why.
Or because these people tried to kill him.
Yeah, well, I don't think they would.
No.
I don't think they would try to kill him.
The MAGA faithful expressed their support for the former president in all the totally normal ways, with Confederate flags in Iowa and images of Trump on a velociraptor with a machine gun.
You know, people say, oh, Trump's that's a cult, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like cult is such a negative word. We are not a cult. We are a group of Americans that love our country and want it back.
Are there any old hits or things you hope he goes back to?
Oh gosh, I feel like whatever he spews out of his mouth, I just love it. I just love.
It doesn't matter what he says?
Yeah, we're gonna love it. We're gonna love being here. We're gonna love hearing what he has to say.
But this isn't a cult.
No, I don't think so.
Not a cult at all. It's not like they would rather almost piss themselves than miss a second of the Donald speech. But if they're already looking to Trump's yet-to-be-announced 2024 campaign, what are the big issues?
I really hope he gets to the topic of the border crisis.
That's one of the bigger things right now because that's completely being brushed under the rug.
And you're from Iowa?
I'm from Iowa, yeah.
So you worry about people coming from Minnesota?
Trump's potential campaign would also be about healing the broken nation caused by the current Biden administration.
I mean, obviously, this administration is doing all it can to pit each other against each other.
Yeah, every way, shape, and form, they've been trying to divide it.
Yeah, it's like this administration is giving the middle finger to half the
Yes.
country.
The whole country, if you ask me.
And that's
the
just
whole damn country.
That's just wrong.
Yeah.
It's absolutely wrong.
We shouldn't be giving the middle finger to half the country.
Right.
We should be loving one another and working
We
together.
should be. We should be working together.
Right. Right.
It doesn't matter what your opinions are, we can still be civil to each other.
Exactly.
And still be this great country that we are supposed to be, or we were at one point in time.
Yeah, doing this is childish.
Yes.
I've had people stop talking to me for my views.
You should show respect.
Yes.
What's going on with your shirts?
I think they speak for themselves, do they not?
Why doesn't someone want to engage with that? Am I right?
Exactly.
This is sort of like the Trump welcome sign, right? Maybe the most surprising moment of the rally was when I ran into an old friend I thought I'd never see again. Q's back! And there's Q shit everywhere! Yes, the online conspiracy following a mysterious character known as Q was more popular than ever. Is that a Q?
Yeah.
Are you a Q supporter?
Certainly.
Wasn't Q's whole thing that Trump would be reinstated as president?
He's never left. There's no doubt in my mind, 150,000%.
That he's still president of the United States? Really? Does he still hold the powers of the presidency?
Well, he's been flying around the world on Air Force One. It says something.
I thought Joe Biden's technically on Air Force One. No. So they're faking it?
Yeah, it's not even a presidency.
Who is running the government right now?
President Trump.
He's running the government.
And the military.
And he's running the military. So we should blame him for what happened in Afghanistan?
No.
But it's still his fault.
It's way beyond my
understanding.
I'm not.
Thank you for talking to me, George. Enjoy seeing current President Trump.
Thank you.
So Q is telling them that Trump is still the president, and also where to park their cars. A lot of characters here today. We have a woman directing traffic wearing a QAnon shirt. I assume she's also inspecting cars for lizard people and make-believe pedophile rings. And thanks to online bullshit, they have a very interesting take on who was behind the January 6th insurrection.
Oh, Antifa, like the corrupt FBI, basically rhinos, corrupt politicians, the deep state, all of that.
I don't believe that it was people like me and people like you see over there in that crowd that did it.
Who was behind?
FBI, CIA, Antifa were used, other groups like that.
It seemed like a lot of them were going into the Capitol to attack Nancy Pelosi and perhaps hang.
Who?
What's that?
Who? Which one? The one with the bullhorns? He's not a Trump supporter. I don't care what his resume says. He's not a Trump supporter. In fact, do you remember the picture of the plane in Afghanistan with all the people running next to it? That was a balloon plane. If you look at the pictures of the real plane, there's pieces that are missing from the real plane to that plane.
So you're saying there's a conspiracy around the Afghanistan withdrawal?
No, I'm saying that there was one guy there who ran. It's the only guy who turned to the camera and waved his hands. Do y'all remember that? Everybody remember that? He's the guy with the horns on his hat.
He was in Afghanistan?
Yes, go look at the pictures.
I think he's in jail right now.
No, that's what they who's gonna...
We gonna find pictures of like the horn guy in like the background of old Civil War photos or in paintings of the Revolutionary War?
I'm just telling you the picture looks just like it.
Can America's centuries-old democracy survive the 2024 campaign? Maybe this guy knows. The discussion around vaccines and mandates tends to pit red state versus blue. But I had heard there was vaccine hesitancy and misinformation in the elitist of the elite blue corners of the US. So I headed to a protest in sunny Southern California. I came to California curious if the anti-vax mandate crowd would talk to me. Then I realized I brought a camera and we're in Southern California. I think I'll be fine. Is this an anti-vaccination?
It is not an anti-vax, so don't go there.
Don't go there.
Please don't.
Are you vaccinated?
I am not.
So you're anti-vax?
I do not want to get the vaccination for COVID.
What do you support?
People's freedom of choice.
Don't you benefit from a society that supports that by getting vaccinated?
You shouldn't be able to force that stuff on people. It's step one, then there'll be step two.
What's step
three.
two?
Who knows? I'm not a conspiracy theorist here.
But didn't we have step one with polio?
They didn't really mandate that. The people were docile back in the industrial stage. They were more than willing to take these shots.
Polio is mandated for students going to school.
Polio has to be because we know what it's done.
Don't we know what COVID's done? I mean, there's 750,000 people who have a pretty good idea.
Dig it.
Do you trust the vaccine whatsoever?
0%. And because I know what the end goal is.
What's the end goal?
Bill Gates said in the 2015, if we can get all these health things, vaccination, we can reduce the population by 10 to 15%. What's 15% of 7 billion? That's 1 billion people.
The vaccine is all about depopulation.
They've said that.
So this is just Bill Gates' pet project to depopulate the globe.
He's probably a puppet of the people above him.
Which are who?
No clue.
It's a big claim to say there is a giant plan to kill half the population and not have a Thanos to point to.
So why does the conversation on this SoCal boardwalk sound like a Shoney's in Lancaster, PA? I talked to Derek Barris, who's been tracking this coastal elite anti-vax movement for years.
You've had a long anti-vaccine sentiment here. Specifically in 2017, there was a measles outbreak right over there in Brentwood and Santa Monica, where an eradicated disease in America sprung up again. This idea of bodily sovereignty has really come about since the pandemic, but that has been taught for decades inside of yoga studios in America.
Bodily sovereignty sounds a lot like what I told my parents I was doing freshman year of high school.
You have pretty liberal parents then.
Yeah, this is my body. I can do what I want with it as often as I want to do, wherever I want in the living room.
You're still here.
People hear about anti-vax and they think MAGA world, but now we're seeing this wellness, which we see maybe more to the left.
Center for Countering Digital Hate identified 12 practitioners in the wellness space that were responsible for something like 70% of the vaccine disinformation on social media.
Turns out ignoring the advice of the medical experts and sacrificing the health of the community at large can actually be quite profitable for the wellness business.
Everyone knows about ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine at this moment. The idea that that could help. You have meditations that are sold that are supposed to ward off COVID. You also have different breathing techniques. Some practitioners, including here in Los Angeles, teach breathing workshops because COVID is a respiratory illness. And so their belief is, well, if you're breathing properly, it won't actually affect you.
You can breathe your way out of COVID.
Absolutely.
That's a class you can pay for.
Yes,
here.
That is absolutely a class you could pay for.
So like, how many smoothies does one have to ingest to get to the point where they can completely disregard the health of the community they live in?
In Los Angeles, one, because they're usually $25.
I never knew there was that many parts of honey to ingest.
And the honey is blessed by a shaman from Tibet, so you're paying for that as well. You have to remember that.
I wanted to talk to these people, so I set up outside of the bougiest health food market in Venice Beach. And I also had a hankering for an activated charcoal bone broth rose hip smoothie cure-all.
Are you vaccinated?
Maybe. No, I'm not.
You're not?
No.
Are you fearful of catching COVID?
No.
No?
I think that it's more about the lifestyle versus like vaccinated, not vaccinated. Like,
what is the lifestyle?
Like being healthy, like taking care of yourself, like your mind, your body. If you live a lifestyle of wellness, then your body should be able to handle COVID.
So what do you recommend for basic public health?
Eating healthy, boosting your immunity system, and don't watch the news because it's just brainwashing you with fear. And the fear is lowering your frequency. I only eat fish and only certain kind of fish. Like for example, I don't eat tuna. And I actually found that out when I was trying to feed tuna to my cat and she shook her head and walked off.
Do you often take medical advice from a cat?
In general, from nature.
From nature. What do you think of the COVID vaccine?
I don't think it's a vaccine. I think it's snapping the DNA in half.
Where did you hear this? A Siamese cat? You recommend for public health people meditating?
Of course.
People working out in groups?
Definitely.
Eating healthy?
Definitely.
COVID vaccine?
No.
No. Coffee enema?
Possibly.
Okay, maybe on the coffee enema. Definite hard no on the COVID vaccine.
No.
I'm not an anti-vaxxer per se. I'm a staunch anti-mandate person.
Can I ask, are you both vaccinated?
Sorry,
we don't want to put
on
the status?
No.
I just.
If you don't want to share your vaccine status, that's okay. I'm vaccinated, and look how I look. Don't judge me. I know everybody in LA is judging people. I'm an LA 5, a New York 6, and a DC 12.
I can tell.
Cold, but fair. Now what say you, dude?
I want to talk about wellness and public health, and trust me, we'll get to your script later. Can I ask you, are you vaccinated?
I am.
Do you find that most people in Los Angeles that you encounter are vaccinated?
Like, I'm kind of a New Yorker.
Yeah.
And there's a sense of like civic duty. There isn't so much of that here, to be totally honest. It's more like, well, I had to get vaccinated because I'm paying a trip to Tulum.
So if more Americans were dangled a trip to Tulum, we might get that vaccination rate up in the 90s?
Maybe so, yeah.
No matter what part of the anti-vax world they come from, there's one comparison they just can't resist making.
I think what's interesting, especially coming from Germany, I think history is repeating itself right now.
What are you saying? That what's
The vaccine mandates and everything. It's like it's turning into a police state.
And you're equating it to World War II era Germany.
Yes. Where's your papers? Where are your papers? It's very similar to the Hitler times.
But like Jewish people are fleeing Poland because they can't get into gyms?
It's not funny.
But is that comparison though?
You just didn't get the point, sorry. I'm good, bye.
Maybe historical dramas aren't big in LA, but certainly there is commercial viability in saving humanity, right?
We're in LA, maybe there's an elevator pitch here, right? So zoom in on a country at war with itself, and then a magical cure comes along that helps people take care of the rest of their community by making a choice to help other people. Would you buy that ticket?
No.
No? Okay.
Vaccination is still going a bit slow in America, and we should be past this talk by now, but we're not, and it's definitely gonna come up at your holiday gatherings. So that you're prepared for those conversations, here is our gift to you. These are moments from past rallies we haven't shown before with some truly unique arguments from the vaccine-hesitant crowd.
I haven't seen that it's been life-saving at all. I've seen a lot more people in the hospital after they got this vaccine than, it being helpful.
Right now in North Carolina, 92% of the people who are in the hospital because of COVID are unvaccinated. Does that worry you?
No.
No. Where nowadays can the unvaccinated congregate?
Basically nowhere unless they form a group.
Yeah, unless it's the ICU.
What's that? What do you mean ICU?
That tends to be where many of the unvaccinated congregate.
Okay, yes, okay.
The ICUs here are full.
Yeah, but in the general scope of things of the entire population of everybody who's been tested, what does that weigh out to?
So a full ICU is just a full ICU. Kids need to see the lower half of other kids' faces.
Yeah.
That seems like a take.
I'm not an anti-vaxxer. Just don't be putting some stuff in my body that isn't proven.
It's not proven.
Right.
So your issue is that maybe they rushed this through too fast.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like it was an issue that America moved at warp speed?
Yes, I do.
Who did you support in the last election?
Trump.
Do you think he deserves more credit for what he did with the vaccine?
Kills me. Biden gets in. Biden gets the credit for the vaccine. Oh yeah, give me the vaccine.
So wait, Trump deserves more credit or less credit?
I think Trump did what he could do.
Which is move the vaccine at warp speed. Which you were against like a second ago. Do you have a distrust about some of the narratives that are going on in
I have a lot of distrust.
Talk to me about that.
It's too long.
Where are you getting your information about the vaccine?
I have a lot of information, just like you guys all get your information.
Where do you go for your information?
From a lot of places.
Specifically? What are you going to miss out on if this mandate prevents you from doing it?
I just tried to get some Thai. I love Thai food. I just tried to get some Thai food around the corner. They told me I couldn't sit down and eat unless, I had a vaccine mandate. Now, I believe things like that were said to Martin Luther King when he tried to walk into places to eat, but they said they had a different reason to make him a second-class citizen.
Comparing yourself to MLK are big words for a guy wearing 80s b-boy jeans.
Actually, these are not 80s b-boys jeans. They are new true religions. I know you can't tell because you're a Democrat and you can't afford these things.
All right, well, enjoy. I hope you don't get sick.
Thank you. I still haven't yet. Have you gotten COVID?
I did.
That sucks. Too bad for you.
That's the empathy that the young Republicans bring. Thank you. Where are you getting your information?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Well, not everywhere, but like to those places. Internet, by word of mouth.
Right.
Here, I mean, you see a nice burrito, and it has like farm fresh eggs in it.
If you got to see the workers at Pfizer's make you a vaccine burrito, would you trust that?
No.
No.
Tens of thousands of people have already died from the vaccine. When the flu vaccine came out, 75 people died and they stopped it to rework it.
Tens of thousands of people? Where do you get that stat?
I get that stat from the, the VPEAR, the one that puts out the stats. Let me ask my daughter. Livy!
The CDC?
No, not the CDC.
The BS?
What's that people, what's that? What's that? The VPEAR? Where they're getting the
SHBULLSHIT.
stats. What did you say?
They are violating bodily autonomy. They are creating the same as vaccine passports, which is illegal segregation.
illegal segregation.
We are going back to a state in which there are two groups of people. You had the vaccinated and the unvaccinated.
You feel like what's going on right now is back to 60s America.
Creating that. A lot of my friends, they concentrate on Nazi Germany. That's a whole other planet. That's a whole other country.
That's a crazy comparison. Asking people to get a COVID vaccine, Holocaust comparison a little much. Jim Crow feels about right.
Yeah,
When someone asks you what they can get you for Christmas, just tell them to get vaccinated.